Welcome, everyone. I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes before I get started. Y'all to come on in. For those who do not know, the Kendrick Johnson case has been reopened. It's been reopened. Okay. Um, and I wasn't going to go live tonight. I was not because I just uploaded a video with similarities between Jacqueline and Trezell and Chris Watts. So I was not going to, do a video tonight. I just uploaded one video. I wasn't gonna come on. But a very, loyal subscriber sent me some information and some never seen before photos that was very disturbing. So, it led me to have to come live. Hey Tasha, hey Kendra. So these never seen that I have never seen before photos that a lot of people I'm sure have not seen them has been I guess aired out. Hey Jerry Trzowski. So has Ghost Ninja. Hey Big Mom the same. Yes, so like I said, I was not planning on going live, but in the light of this information, I've had to go ahead and bring it to the forefront and show you um the information, the photos and everything like that. Um what I do, I don't do it for money. So like I said, I'm going to be showing you some photos that um you know it's probably not going to be approved, but it is what it is because we do this because it needs to be brought to the forefront. It needs to be, we need justice this time for Kendrick. So I'm going to definitely bring it to the forefront. So thank you, Tasha, for that information. Thank you very much for sending that to me. Um, so yeah, so let's get into it. First, I want to show you. Yeah, this is very. I'm kind of like a little irritated, but it's okay. It's just the information is just like I don't know. It's just not good. Now all these pop-ups. Hold on. Okay. So wait on this. But yeah, right here it says that his case investigation to the death of the teen. Well, I don't know why. But let me X out of that. I don't even know. But the investigation to the death of the Georgia teen found in a rolled up mat 8 years ago will be reopened. Just so y'all will know that. But let me see if this little video will play before I show y'all let y'all listen to his mother and show y'all the never seen before photos that is gonna it irritated me because it's obvious, it's so obvious it's murder, and there's no reason why we should be here again today without justice. It's just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Let me see if this is gonna play. Let's see.
What prompted the sheriff to go ahead? And reopen?
I don't know why the video is stuck. Because we need this information.
In this case?
Come on, why it's not playing? What's going on?
What prompted the sheriff to go ahead and reopen this case?
Well, good morning, Robin. This is a sheriff who has says that he's known this family for his entire life. And he says that when this happened back in 2013, he just wasn't sure if this was indeed an accident, that Kendrick Johnson, as the department determined back then, slipped into a mat. And this is the difference of there quite literally being a new sheriff in town. Sheriff Ashley Polk, who is in charge of the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office now, was not affiliated with the department in 2013 when Kendrick Johnson's body was found. As you said, his parents never believed the story that their 17-year-old son climbed on top of a gym mat and reached into the center of a mat to grab a shoe, got stuck, and as a state pathologist found, drowned from fluids in his lungs, that he was suffocated. They hired an independent pathologist to conduct an autopsy who found evidence of unexplained, apparent non-accidental blunt force trauma to Kendrick Johnson's neck. There was a federal investigation that started in the fall of 2013 that lasted for 2.5 years, and there are two sentences. The crux of this statement at the end of the investigation that really reinforced the concerns that there was something more here. Let me read them for you. First, they established that in order to establish a federal criminal civil rights violation in this case, the government would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt not only that someone killed Kendrick Johnson, but that the killing that was motivated by racial animus. They go on to say there's insufficient evidence to prove.
All right, come on, video.
Beyond a reasonable doubt that someone or some group of people willfully violated Kendrick Johnson's civil rights or committed any other prosecutable federal crime. Murder on its own, manslaughter on its own, not a federal crime. So this sheriff,
I don't know what's going on with this video.
Team asked for all the files, and he received 17 boxes of evidence. The federal investigators conducted 100 interviews, looked through tens of thousands of emails and text messages, reviewed the surveillance video that you showed just a moment ago, and now that is in the hands of the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office, again, under the direction of Sheriff Ashley Polk, who says he will lead this investigation himself.
And what reaction, anything from the family? 8 years, sure, that's a long time, but that would not lessen the pain of losing a loved one.
Yeah, I spoke with both Jacqueline Johnson and Kenneth Johnson, Kendrick Johnson's parents, yesterday. I first met them here in 2013, as you see the video. And they said that it's been a long, hard 8 years. They're not asking for any special favors. They're not asking for anyone to lie. but they believe that their son was killed in a 2015 federal lawsuit that has since been dismissed for procedural issues. They allege that two of Kendrick's schoolmates beat him in that gym and then hid his body. They named dozens of law enforcement agents who they believe were involved in a cover-up. You'll remember that in our 2015 reporting, his organs, Kendrick's organs, were missing when his body was exhumed for that private autopsy. That there are missing elements of the surveillance video that's on your screen right now. Lots of mysterious elements in this case. And the sheriff says that he wants, if there are any discrepancies, to finally get an answer for these parents that he can stand behind.
Okay. So that's one of the videos I want to show y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get it together. I'm really upset about these photos, but it's just sad that it's so obvious that Kendrick Johnson was murdered and that they tried to get justice for him. They fought the family so hard and they kept denying him justice, and they're opening it again. And it's insane to me how hard they're having to fight for this boy to get justice. And I'm going to show you these photos. I've never seen them before, but I'm about to pull them up, okay? I'm about to pull them up. I'm about to show you the photos that I have never seen before, okay? Now, I've seen one of his autopsy photos, of his face. I've seen that, but I've never seen this photo. And I'm going to show you guys. All right, this is one of these photos that he was pulled out of the gym mat. I want to make sure you guys can see that is one. I have 4. Let me know. Yes, organs does tell you a lot about what happens to a body. So it's very suspicious when organs are not in the body. When the organs tell you what happened, if they're swollen, if they're punctured, they examine the organs in an autopsy to be able to tell you if something was happened to that person and what happened to that person. Okay? They'll be able to. So this is one of the photos when Kendrick Johnson was pulled out of the mat in the gym. My thing is, how does it not look like murder when there's blood? Y'all telling me he suffocated? Y'all saying he suffocated. Why would there be all this blood? If it was an accident, he suffocated. He reached down in the mat and suffocated. Why would it be all this blood? Exactly. You see his arm. We're looking at his arm. I can see all type of bruising. Even if he was reaching, he wouldn't be stuck like that. His arms will be stretched outward, in my opinion. But look at his arms. And then you see all of the blood. This looks like murder to me. Let me go on to the next picture. Hold on. Let me go back up. All right. This is a picture of the mat. This is a photo of the mat. As you see, there's blood right here all around the mat. Shoes has been removed. Shoes have been removed. Okay. Blood on the mat. For those who do not know, the cameras was edited. Bunch of time is missing from when Kendrick was in that gym showing what happened to him is being removed. Okay? Let me just, for those who do not know and is not aware of this case and what happened, there are time lapses in the video footage with Kendrick Johnson in that gym. That's why it's believed to be a cover-up. Okay? That's why it's believed to be a cover-up. They edited the tapes. You cannot see, and there's cameras in the gym where you should be able to see him. But there's time that's been erased out of the footage in that gym. Yes. I've even, back when this case first hit, there was investigators that shared their opinions about how that video was altered. They had even outside people come look at it. That shows that it was edited. That they removed the photo so you couldn't see who harmed Kendrick. So you couldn't see what happened to Kendrick. Let me see. Because I want to say there's one more. This is a picture of him inside of the mat. Okay. This is 2013. Oh, yeah. For those that don't know, yeah, the brothers that were suspected of doing it, Brian, Bell, and his brother that was suspected of harming Kendrick, of murdering Kendrick. Their father is supposed to be have worked with law enforcement. So it's believed that that's why this is covered up. Now, I'm not sure what their motive is. Let me say that. I'm not sure what their motive is on covering this up, but I can say I believe this is a cover up. I don't know if it's to cover up the boys' futures. I don't know. But I believe those two boys had something to do with Kendrick being murdered in that gym. The school covered it up along with the people that's affiliated with the father of law enforcement, helped cover that up. And I believe they placed this boy in this mat, okay, and tried to act like it was an accident. Hey, Natasha. Oh, yeah, there was blood found in various places. Okay? That is true. But I just wanted to, let me show y'all one more photo. Last but not least, this is his body, once again, pulled outside of the mat. As you can see, something's going on with his pants. Yeah, they look like they're undone. It looked like his pants is undone. That's what it looks like to me. Look like his pants is undone. Why would his pants be undone? See, this photos I've never seen. I've never seen. But his pants look undone. Right here, you can see that they're undone. You can see the marks and the bruising. Do you see all the mark and the bruising? This looks like defensive wounds. This is what we talked about before with the Kawan Charles case. We wanted to see the arms. We wanted to see the arms. And I'm gliding with my cursor. These look like defensive wounds. This is murder. This is murder. This is murder. You see all these defensive wounds on both arms. On both arms. Both arms. Both arms. Mm-hmm. He was placed there. He was placed there. He was placed there. He was placed in the mat, unfortunately. And you can see the marks all on his arms. The defensive wounds, cuts, bruising, marking. He was in an altercation with someone in that gym, and everybody involved covered it up. From the law enforcement to the boy's parent, the father, to law enforcement, everyone helped cover up this boy's murder. Everybody helped cover up this boy's murder. Yes, they did. And these are, I showed you the photos. And let me see if this play. But the mom, she went live, and I'm going to play you guys that. If it allowed me to play. Not now. Okay, there it goes.
What exactly is your connection to the family? I'm an official family spokesperson. Right. I run a political human civil rights organization called Save Ourselves. That's right. I remember hearing that. Okay, fine. Listen, got it. Okay. Are we good to go, Ben?
Yes, we should be good, but Edith and I are both recording. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Jacqueline, would you just give me your name on camera, please?
Jacqueline Johnson.
And Marcus, same thing, please. Marcus.
This is Kendrick's mother.
Okay, Miss Jacqueline, you know, most folks won't watch this, won't have had a chance to meet Kendrick. And I always think it's important to talk about the living, right? But the lives they led, not just about how they passed. So, what kind of a kid was Kendrick?
Kendrick was a fun kid. He was the joy of our house. He was a baby boy, so you know he was a little bit spoiled, and we were a little bit more lenient on Kendrick. But he was the joy of our house. We were a different type family. We used to like wrestle and do water fights in the house. Like a lot of people would get mad about it, but you know we were like just glued to each other. And Kendrick was the type of person that he'd come in the house and the whole room light up. Like his sister had already finished school, and Kendrick would just come in the house and he would just run and jump on her back and make her so mad. They'd be running around in the house. She'd be chasing him. She'd be so mad. But, you know, those are the things that we remember, the good times. We used to barbecue, and Kendrick used to be saying, I sure wish y'all hurry up and, you know, be ready to see the rest of the family get together and stuff. It just...
Yeah, he does like his mama, don't he, Jerry?
Oh, yeah.
He does.
Right? Okay. And so also sounds like somebody brought a lot of life into the house. us, right? I mean,
Yes.
a lot of joy to his mama, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about what happened. I mean, so he disappeared one afternoon. Is that right?
Yes, on January the 10th, 2013.
So what happened? Walk me through what happened.
Well, on January the 10th, Kendrick didn't come home off the school bus. I drove school buses for the Lowndes County school system, and Kendrick would ride a bus to the high school and ride back to the bus yard to get back in the car with me. So when his bus driver came through, I was already there waiting for him, and I asked her, where was Kendrick? She said, well, he didn't get on the bus. Was he supposed to? And I was just like, well, maybe he stayed out of the game or something, because he would normally let us know, if he's going to stay out of the game, he's going to contact somebody. But Kendrick didn't contact nobody at all that day. And so we started calling around to each other and trying to figure out, what was going on with Kendrick.
And so I'm sure that was a rough night for you when he didn't come home. And then the next day, they find him. Well, I don't want to poke at your pain here, man, but what was that moment like for you?
That was the worst, I'll say, one of the worst days, beginning of my life, like waiting and praying and hoping that Kendrick still came through that door. But, once the hours began to keep going by, deep down in my heart as a mother, I knew something was wrong, because Kendrick and them knew that I didn't play about them coming in the house on a school night, no 10 o'clock. You not letting nobody know where you were at, and nobody has heard from you. So in my heart of being a mother, I knew something was wrong.
And when your worst fears come true the next day and they find him, how do you begin to describe that kind of loss?
It just sucked the whole life out of me. Like, I'm just still not believing that my child is dead. Like, no, I'm just praying like that's somebody else's child. It's not not that it's nobody else's child, but that's just not true.
And even today, I mean, it's been 8 years, right? You feel that loss every day?
Every day, every second of the hour. You can wake up in the morning like having a good day. These little things, the little smell, or somebody walk by that look like Kendrick, or somebody that, just bringing up Kendrick's name. It's just your whole day is just wrecked, and you can't rectify it. It's just all over with. You just in that depressed mode, and you can't come out of it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this story when it first happened, in part because it was the wrestling man, the whole thing was so unusual, right? And I know that they started investigating, and you had high hopes that they would get to what you thought was the bottom of it, and yet they ruled it an accident. Did you see it as an accident?
No, never. There's no way.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What do you think it was?
I knew it was murder. Like, the stories that they gave us, there's no way. And then by me knowing my child, there's no way my son would try to wiggle into a mat that was 14 inches wide, and his shoulders were 17 to 19 inches. So there's no way that he could wiggle in there. And then to try to think that a person that know better, that plays, he played basketball, he ran track, and he played football. Your big old body's not going to be able to get down there. And if you wiggling yourself in there trying to get to the bottom of the mat, you can't get back up. So, how?
So what do you think happened?
I know that my son was beat to death and rolled up in the mat. I'm not going to even say think again. I know my son was beat to death because Kendrick had braces in his life. His teeth was messed up. His lip was swollen. I know my child from living with him for 17 years. He was bruised all up. Kendrick had perfect skin, perfect teeth.
And no way in your mind it was an accident?
No way.
So I know and then you hired your own, you had a separate autopsy done, and then they ruled that there was blunt force trauma, and it was not an accident,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
And at that point, you probably had hopes that there would be charges at some point.
Yes.
So here we are 7 years later, no charges against anybody. What is that like for you?
It was just like another slap in the face, but with the people that we have dealt with in the city of Valdosta, I kind of knew that they wasn't going to do anything, but because that's how they are, you know, if it ain't one of your friends or somebody that you know of, they're not going to do anything about it. They're going to try to pay people off, allegedly pay people off, and get them on their way. But we were not their family. We want to know what happened to Kendrick Johnson, why nothing has been done, and why nobody has been held accountable. And like I always tell them, they mess around and got the wrong family, because we're not going nowhere till we get down to the bottom of the truth and nothing but facts that happened with Kendrick Johnson.
It's 8 years later. We both know Kendrick's not coming back. So why is it so important to you?
It's important because, one, he was my child. He didn't bother nobody. And two, Kendrick life matter.
And that's your message.
Yes.
Pushing forward this investigation.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you something, Marcus. I know this has been, this case has been divisive in that community. Why do you think it has been so divisive?
I believe you said you're out of Marietta. I'm out of Atlanta. But we know if we go in any direction, north, south, east, or west, in about 20 or 25 minutes, then you're in the red clay sticks of Georgia. And Lowndes County holds true to that preservation of time of this southern state, this Bible Belt state, this home of the Confederacy, literally states. I just want to reiterate something. You learn when you're in preschool that you can't fit around a square peg in a round hole. I mean, just that simple. And not even just the one autopsy. I can't even imagine, well, I can be with this family, but I have two sons myself. They exhumed their child's remains for a second time. And there's 3 autopsies, autopsy 2 and 3, identical at blunt force trauma against the bogus positional asphyxiation. I just want to note this real quick. Both autopsies 2 and 3 were able to come to that determination because of severe hemorrhaging around the main artery in Kendrick's neck. That coincides or hand in glove with the original EMT's report when they pulled Kendrick out of that mat. They noted that Kendrick had severe hemorrhaging around his main artery. Not to mention, Kendrick was missing every single every single organ in his body. Not to mention that he was missing his entire tongue and windpipe. Not to consider that all of Kendrick's fingernails were cut down to the point of bruising. Not to mention that the clothes that Kendrick wore, the clothes that his mother and his father saw him leave on January 10th, have still never been found. Let me ask you this. Let me go back to the first thing.
Okay, I did not know he was missing his tongue. I know he was missing organs in the body, but I thought, his lower part of his body. I did not know he was missing his tongue. So they just disrespected his whole entire body at this point. I did not know that he was missing his tongue. They cut down his nails. They did everything they could that first corner, so you would not know, wasn't able to get no evidence to prove that it was homicide. They did everything they could. They removed everything. With the busted lip, I could figure his tongue was probably cut up too. So that's why they probably removed the tongue. Then they probably removed the organs because they could tell, the organs could tell you what happened to a person's body. So I know that they did that too, but I did not know that they removed his tongue, which is sickening to me that you would go to the extent to do this. This is sickening, but I did not know that. So they just stated that, and cut down his fingernails. I did not know that. Very sickening. Okay, YouTube bros, thank you. This is just I'm gonna finish and I'm gonna let it finish playing, but I had to pause right there. They did put newspapers inside of his body. For those who do not know, they replaced his organs with newspaper. Such lack of disregard for human life. They put newspapers in his body, and like they said, autopsy 2 and 3 resulted in blunt force trauma. was the results in the last two autopsies, blunt force trauma. Okay, so you got those last two findings and last two autopsies. The first one was ruled an accident. The last two, blunt force trauma to the neck, not an accident, homicide. Okay, homicide. All right. Oh yes, ma'am. They placed newspapers inside of this boy's body. Yes, they did. Mm-hmm. It's sickening. It's it's kind of, this case has always been hard for me, but I mean it's sickening. It's sickening how they just did his body. All the way from the beginning to the end. It's like this was a whole complete cover up from the beginning to the end, from the time he was at school all the way to the autopsy table. This was a complete cover up. They did not want the boys who did this to Kendrick to go to jail. And it was like the whole town seemed like they was covering this up. That's just what it is. A straight cover up.
I think you talked about, basically saying red state. I think you're implying separate approaches to justice, probably one black, one white. I mean, has this case, in your mind, been ignored for so long because the victim was a black kid?
Well, I'm glad you went back there, sir. Kendrick was found on January 11th, April of 2013. April of 2013, the Sheriff's Department closes the investigation. But they close it and label it an accident before the autopsy report was even out. That was the big thing. It was all in the media back then. How can you determine the cause of death if there's been no autopsy? So, not only do they have a distant justice system in various parts of this country, but definitely the red clay of Georgia being one, it's not just about the judge, jury, and executioner by officers on the side of the road that black and brown and low-income communities have a problem with. It's the botched investigations, or the no investigations, or the non-thorough investigations. Kendrick's case literally went from Lowndes County Sheriff's Department, assisted with my PD, the GBI, which is where the first autopsy was done, two U.S. attorney's offices, including the FBI, Middle District of Georgia, and the Northern District of Ohio. But people fail to forget that Kendrick's case was governed out of Washington, D.C. from the Department of Justice. Kendrick's case has literally done a 360 all the way to D.C. now back in Lowndes County. We're ecstatic about that because at the federal level, all the charges that you possibly get are a violation to Kendrick's civil rights. There is no murder. There is no manslaughter. Or there wasn't any murder. There wasn't any manslaughter. Now that this investigation has been reopened in the Sheriff's Department, we feel like those array of charges that literally fit what happened to Kendrick cannot be applied.
What do you think those charges will be?
Murder. Will be. We're hoping, sir. We're cautiously optimistic that murder will be dealt down here. When the feds closed the investigation in July 2016, they told Mr. and Mrs. Johnson two things. Number one, they excluded me from the meeting. Fine, even though I helped coordinate it. But they also excluded their counsel. They met with two U.S. attorney's offices and a representative of the head of the homicide division out of D.C. with no counsel. And in that meeting, they were told two chilling flags. One, the shoe that was up under Kendrick's body, inside of the mat that was sitting on a pool of blood, didn't have a drop of blood on the top of the shoe. Very strange for you to get blood all around and abundant, but not on top. They told them that the government, that they know that shoe was placed there. Chilling red flag one. Two, at that point in time, it had only been two autopsies. They told Mr. and Mrs. Johnson that they know the second autopsy is the most accurate. Blunt force trauma. But yet there was not enough evidence to point to any individuals as far as a violation of Kendrick's civil rights. You had to prove that he was not only murdered, but murdered with a racial biasness. And it was not enough evidence to point to any individuals or one individual, therefore we must close the case. So if they were given that information at the close of the case in 2016 on a federal level, in 17 boxes, each one representing a year of Kendrick's life that me, Mr. Johnson like to feel is symbolic, we feel like there is a clear path to what they closed the case with, saying that the second autopsy, now the second and third, is the most accurate.
Okay. Ms. Junkin, I know my image is frozen here, but you can hear me. Is that right?
I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, I've covered a lot of these kinds of cases over the years where you have a mama like you looking for justice and basically not going to stop until you get it. I mean, and you often hear no justice, no peace. Is this a case of no justice, no peace?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
And why is that, ma'am?
I'll say again, my son's life mattered. Kendrick deserved justice. Kendrick was in one of the places that should have been the safest place for him to be at. Kendrick wasn't on no corner. Kendrick was at school trying to get his education so he can go on to do what his plans and goals were in life.
And what were his goals? Was he a senior or junior?
He was a junior.
He's a junior. What did he want to do?
He wanted to play professional football.
Got it. Okay. All right. And do you think you know who did it, or you have a guess who did it, or are you wide open?
Well, I mean, it's all across the media who allegedly done it, and that's just what I stay to.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The Bell brothers.
Thank you, ma'am, for doing that. Thank you, Marcus, too. Appreciate you both. Is there anything else, ma'am, that you'd like to say that you wish I had asked you? Because
the Bell brothers did it.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. I wish you luck and I wish you peace.
Thank you so much.
Okay? Okay. All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you
Marcus.
so much, and please stay in touch with us about any updates or anything like that. We want to make sure we stay on this. You have my cell phone number, so please, let's stay in touch so that we can continue with any updates that you guys have.
Sure will.
For the record, we've agreed to meet back up with Sheriff Polk in 90 days. 90 days from last Friday. Okay.
Great. So we'll
Thank
be in
you.
touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
It's some news channel was asking the questions. So, hey everybody.
All right, so that's the mother. She talked from the beginning to end to give you a general on what happened to him from beginning to end. But this case is just, they've been fighting. They keep closing it, the case. She fights to get the case reopened. They close it again. This is just so. I hope he gets justice this time. But this case always just. This is just sad. Oh yeah, Air Force. It's sad. It's sad. Let me post the link, so I'll let a few people up and talk for a little bit if you want to. If you have any questions, I didn't even plan on going live, y'all. It's crazy because I did my video earlier. I posted that, and I didn't plan on going live, but this information came about, these photos that I've never seen for Kendrick, and the case being reopened. So I was like, man, I gotta go live. I got to show y'all these photos. I gotta show y'all, let's keep y'all informed of what's going on. No matter, how tired I am or how disturbed I am of the photos, how disturbed I am, how you can look at the photos and see it's murder. We're looking at murder. We're not looking at an accident. And the Bell brothers has always been suspects The Bell brothers always been suspects from the jump. They've had prior altercations before this. On the bus, they've had a fight. I mean, this is prior altercations, prior incidences with these boys. Okay. Thank you, Nene. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. But they had prior altercations with the Bell brothers. Okay. Prior incidences. Okay. So, and one of them was in that gym at the time Kendrick Johnson was in the gym. Okay. Let me just say that. I'm gonna go back and see if I can find more of the videos, but they are spaces and gaps where you're never gonna see what happened to him. But I know in the past I was able to see some time of him being in the gym. So I'm gonna try and look for some more of those type of footages. But they erased a lot of the footage where you can't see what happened to him. You should be able to see what happened to him in that gym, but they erased and altered the photos so that you will never be able to see what happened to Kendrick. And they altered his body too. And everything they did was a straight cover up from beginning to end. From beginning to end. Okay. So let me get ready to post the link. So if anybody have any questions, because this was the update, I didn't go over the case from beginning to end, because this was just an update. But let me see, invite. It's. I'm glad they opening the case though. Come on, Ken. You don't want to work today? Oh, there you go. Just shows evil in the world to kill someone in this manner and go on with your life. Oh yeah, and those scholarships. Now I did hear in the past that they stopped those scholarships where they couldn't go out to college like they wanted to because they was considered persons of interest in this case. So yeah, they had scholarships, but they was halted. I remember seeing one of the boys talk a long time ago about how his scholarship was taken for being a person of interest. So yes, they were offered scholarship, the Bell brothers, but the people that didn't want that type of they didn't want that type of stuff at their college. They did not want that type of stuff at their college. But if you want to come up and, you know, share how you feel about the case, your thoughts, I'm just gonna ask you, to be respectful. But yes, I want you to come up if you would like to share your opinion on the case. This is Night Owl. What's up, girl?
Hey sis, what's going on? Let me make this
Nothing
quick
much.
because I followed this case from the very beginning. I'm talking about like from the first day that it came out that this happened to this young man.
Yes.
And I was appalled at the fact that it, first of all, happened at school during school time where somebody is always somewhere. You know, you have a janitor, you have teachers, coaches. It's always like somebody somewhere. And I found it to be just strange that for him this particular day, nobody happened to walk in the gym or be around or was cutting class or nothing. That was number one.
Yes, it
I
was
found it
different.
so strange that for students to be at school, right? Like, I don't know how it was then, but like if your kids, where I am, if the kid missed one class, you get an alert that your kid is not in class or, something is going on. If it's an error, contact us. So those are
Hmm.
the things when it first started, I found so like weird, like people that know him, friends, nobody, would say, hey, um Kendrick was in first period, but he wasn't in, fourth period. I just saw him. I know, he didn't leave the school. He ain't jumped in nobody's car. Like I found that, strange, but I do know what it's like to be a young person and you be about yourself and you go with the flow. Um, when I first saw the pictures, prior to the pictures you showed tonight, I said then he was lynched. I mean, and at that time, you didn't have a lot of people on Facebook like it is now. It was, people could have opinions and commentary without being rude and nasty. I
Yeah.
said it then. He was lynched, and everybody was like, "No, lynch means when somebody takes somebody, hang them in a tree, put a rope." No, that's not always the case. Lynching comes in different forms. He was lynched. I said, and when they gave the story about, oh, he fell and rolled up, and I was like, no, 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 no. Especially a student athlete, like his mom said. Why would he even try to do anything when he knows his size and the sizes of, those met? And what would be on a young man's mind to do that? Like, young people don't, they think of a lot of things. We've been kids, think of a lot of crazy stuff to do. You ain't thought of that. You have not thought
Mhm.
of that. I
And
have always,
that shoe
hmm
that they threw in there didn't even have blood on it,
they didn't think it through.
on the
I
top
think
of it.
something happened that day where some words or looks or something was exchanged. And possibly they were supposed to fight it out in that gym. And
Yes.
in actuality, he got jumped and beat
Yeah.
with something.
Yeah.
And either they told their friends or somebody. I keep telling y'all, we look at the fact it's weird to be at school and nobody walks in the gym. The gym is the most popular hangout next to the cafeteria for young people. And nobody came in that gym that day. And all this took place.
Let me
And
tell you, they probably, it was other people in that gym. It was.
mhm,
I saw a
okay,
video of when he was in there. It was other
mhm,
people in there, but around the time
right,
that
okay.
something happened, they extracted that out of the video.
Yeah, because I'm like, something is missing. And I
Um,
know
it was like
that
one or
it was
two other people in there, but that's all you could barely see um from the angle of the camera.
right. Because that's what threw
Mhm.
me out. Because I kept saying, when nobody else, young people go to the gym to hang out. And, if you're a good kid, make good grades, you go talk to the coach, you got a little lax time before you go home. And I was like, no, it was not an accident. It was a lynching. And they killed him. And they tried to cover it up. The daddy, allegedly, I heard, was an FBI agent. See, for all that to been happen to his
Yes.
body, that came from seasoned detectives. That didn't come from knuckleheads. And I don't mean that disrespectful. I mean no particular race. When I say knuckleheads, that's any kid, girls or boys.
Yeah.
Ain't no young person thought, you know what? We're gonna kill them and we're gonna cut fingernails and take organs. First of all, where they gonna have the what you call it? The cutting knife and the razors and things doctors use to cut out the organs. young people wouldn't know how to do a perfect organ
Oh yeah.
cutting because
Hmm.
you can watch TV all day and CSI and forensic file, but you do know you have to have a precision to the cutting or you're gonna mess it up. I mean, it don't take a big nick to mess up a cut. It can take a small nick and the blood can come up out your body. So
Yes.
I knew some adults had to be involved. And
Oh
I'm
yes.
almost willing to believe they went to the school that night and did all that. I don't believe they even let the young man got to the autopsy table and took the organs and the tongue, and they humiliated him. It was something
Yes.
about his mouth that infuriated him, and it had to be
Hmm.
something about him to take the organ. See, when you hate a person, it's different levels of hate. People think all black and white. It's different levels to that hate they got. And it was
Hmm.
something about him that was so special that they said, oh, with this little African American boy, I wanted to say something else. He think he bad and he think he a star. He think he look good. You heard how his mama said he had good skin. Where most teenagers got what? Pimples, blemishes,
Yep.
things like that. It was something about him that infuriated them to the point that this had to be done. And keep in mind, it wasn't just them that committed this lynching. Other people helped them.
Oh yes.
Other
Other
people
people
helped them.
help.
So what was it about these grown-ups we need to ask that this
Exactly. And
young
let me
man,
say this before those other photos I just shown, those newer photos, even on the past photo of just his face, you can tell that it was murder. The
right?
swollen lip, the
He was
cut,
swollen.
the face.
Hmm.
You
Right.
could tell he was beat in the face.
It was something about him that
Yes.
infuriated them. And that's
Yes.
why I was saying, what was it about him that infuriated the adults?
Then there was rumors that it had to do something with some girl too.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Well,
but
see,
I like
I
to,
figured it was more to it because it was something for all them to be in the gym and all of that took place. Nobody know. I think they went back to the school that night and did all of that and went home and ate stroganoff and laid down and the dad of them drunk wine and everybody just fine because it's the South. I keep telling y'all this happens for real. And
yeah,
everybody in town know everybody and everybody cliquish. And if you ain't the right complexion, you know, you know, you
yeah,
ain't gonna get no justice. If this mother has been fighting this many years and saying the same thing over and over and over and over,
yeah,
imagine the day when she finally gets justice for her baby. And that's what I found hard is that some people said, "Oh, it was an accident," and I keep well, where y'all kids at that had each kind of accident? Because when I was going to school, the schools went in the best condition, but schools now have come a long way. Ain't nobody
hmm,
body get scrubbed up, scraped up, beat, swollen like that in these schools this day. Because if they are, everybody need to take their kids out of school. And when that camera had lapses in time, that school was actually responsible because he was on school property. They were responsible. It's no way that they can say we're not responsible. Yes, you are, because you're accountable. Did the teacher notice he was missing? See, these are questions I had back then because I want to know who all got their palms green and that principal and everybody that helped that family gonna burn hell wide open. They're gonna bust hell wide open because they dead ass wrong for what they did to that young man. They lynched him. I don't call it murder. It was a lynching. And they keep this same thing going all the day to get this scholarship, them scholarships. They murdered somebody as kids. They are psychopaths. And if you really want to know how I feel, the same way he didn't show up at his mama dinner table, they wouldn't have showed up at their family dinner table. It is what it is. We ain't gonna keep playing. Some folks ain't gonna keep playing with these people by going to court. Some
no,
people is not gonna keep playing about their kids not coming home to the dinner table, and everybody else go home and take vacations and get jobs and go to corporate America and all that, just like it ain't nothing. Where when somebody else kids stop coming home to the dinner table, when you know for a fact what they did, then maybe the law enforcement, the coroners, the scientists, forensic scientists, everybody will do what they supposed to do. And it'll be a
Right.
balance. But until it's a balance, just like he didn't come home 7 years, they wouldn't have came home. They wouldn't have no kids. They wouldn't know
Yeah, people will
because
start
they made.
taking the law into their own hands and handle
I'm
it
with it.
themselves.
I'm with it. I just don't want. I'm gonna say it differently though, cause we on here. Yeah, they wouldn't go to
Mhm.
dinner either. And then when everybody be talking about, well, we know, no, I don't know nothing. Not guilty. I don't know nothing. I went there. You ain't proved it. You do like they do us. We don't have enough evidence they failed. Yeah, it look like they failed to me too. And you can have scar marks all across you, rolled up, your organs missing. And you know what I'm gonna tell you? Well, didn't they say that about that other baby? Well, that look like what that happened to me. Then people would take it more seriously because absolutely it made no sense for this case to go on this long with no type of justice for this family. And I'm glad she ain't took no settlement, got up there and said she forgave them and all that. I don't want to hear none of that. What I want to
Exactly.
hear about is some indictments, and what's going to be real good is the people being held accountable. I don't want to hear nothing about no manslaughter. I'm going to tell you the words I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that. Nope. You
Mm-mm.
knew what you do. I don't want to hear nothing about you young. We all been young. See, and that's another thing I done told people. Y'all keep talking about folks young. If you got the mind to kill somebody at school, then you grown. Period. If you
Yeah,
got the mind to take somebody's life and you grown, you know what you're doing. If you can't fight, then stop talking to folks about fight. If you know you don't look good, then just wait till it's your time to glow up. But y'all hated that boy. That's what got me. Y'all had that much
yeah.
hate
He
that
was
you couldn't handle
talented
one on one. Right.
and he was
Mm-hmm.
handsome and he had girls
Mm-hmm.
that liked him. He
There,
was
I want to say
attractive.
something else, but I'm grown. But yeah,
He was
when you ain't got
jealous.
all that, then you tend to be jealous. Well, it's high school. Everybody, feels a way about something, but they know, you know what? I think we ought to go kill him, roll him up, put him in a mat, put a shoe in, and take out organs. You a psychopath and you deserve the death penalty. Period.
Hmm.
Point
Oh,
blank.
this is another thing I want to address and bring up. Back then, when the case was a couple of years ago when it came forefront, that I read somewhere that one of the brothers had hit him in the neck with a barbell, which
I
killed him. He got scared, called his other brother, and they came and covered up the crime. And they called, their outside people too to help cover it up. But
don't.
allegedly, it was a barbell that you do the weights with. He was hit in the neck with one of those. I did
Mm-hmm.
read that. So I mean, with all of this information that's out now was out then. They still
Right.
did not get no justice in the case. The
Mm-hmm.
barbell, there was even confessions, written confession letters from the boys. Okay, going around. It was going around what he used, a barbell, and there was still nothing done. I don't know if that was real or not, but a lot of people remember the confessions that was going around on the internet with the barbell that he hit him in the neck with, which
Yeah.
led him to, which killed him. And
Mm-hmm.
it was also that they tried to say he was on steroids, that it
Yeah.
was something with his steroids that caused him to
Mm-hmm.
snap and kill Kendrick. That was
Mm-hmm.
also,
Let me tell you something. And them same steroids in 2021 will be the reason he ain't at dinner too. Cause we gonna get some
mhm.
steroids too. Whatever's wrong with y'all, wrong with our kids too. Cause see, we got to make it even. Y'all ain't gonna keep playing at folks face with this. We don't know what happened to every one of them. I would have y'all ever seen the movie The Law Abiding Citizen with
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx? Okay, you see where I'm going.
Hmm.
If y'all don't know why I mentioned in that movie and what I would do, watch that movie, The Law Abiding Citizen, and figure out how many times we're going to keep not letting our kids come home to dinner. Because I told you last night, the other day about the Quantum, I We wouldn't have no buildings left. It wouldn't be nothing there. Hey, it is what it is. Because
Mhm.
imagine the pain that family has went through for 7 years. They took his life. And more important, they took his family life. Don't nobody know what their family went through after this young man passed. Nobody knows how hard it is for his mom and his family to do press conferences, beg for justice. These people are begging for justice,
They are.
begging. Do you think we're gonna keep being on our knees begging for justice? Nope. Mm-mm. See, some of us got family members that ain't got nothing to lose. And them the folks that I try to find for families like this that deserve them kind of people, so that you can understand if they ain't got nothing to lose, then law-abiding citizen. That's the movie I recommend you watch. It's an old movie, and you'll get why I say that. Ain't nobody gonna keep playing with people when they take away their loved ones. And he was at school, and at most, that school should have been accountable because something should have been notified and went off. Like, this young man ain't in school. He absent. We need to notify his mom. I want to know who all got some money. They need to go into them bank accounts. They should have went into them young men parents' bank accounts, see what money was wired, transferred, and who got what.
Exactly. A lot of
Because
that
they got
probably went on. A lot of that probably went on. All type of stuff went
Mhm.
on.
Right. And to imagine adults who are in charge of watching your kids while you at school went along with this. And then you have the police department who you tell your kids respect them. You know, they civil servants, they do their jobs, they gonna look out for you. See, you see the irony in that? And these
Mhm.
people covered up this lynching. I mean, this one of the craziest, heartbreaking. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it on CNN or, MSNBC years ago.
Mhm.
Like I said, it was on Facebook. That's where I saw the original pictures, with the busted lip and everything like
Yep.
that.
Back in the day, yeah.
Back in
Years
the day
ago, they
before
had it on
people was
CNN. I'm just thinking he was going to get justice because it
back
was
then.
nationwide. At one point, it was
Right.
nationwide.
Yeah. And I kept following the story. I mean, even when it died down and people that I kept following his pages, his mama pages, reading updates. I still was sharing the story all these years. Every time they come up, I'm gonna share, I'm gonna share, I'm gonna share, I'm gonna share. And this is why I tell people it wasn't no reward put up for no information or nothing. And the fact that they knew, and it's like, how do you know? How would you feel knowing your enemy is right there and what your enemy did, and it ain't nothing you can do? And if you do something to them, you going to jail. But
Mhm.
they did something to yours, and they going to college and fraternities and can have children and laugh about it, and all type of stuff, and nothing for this family. And that's why I'm glad she didn't sell out and get a piece of settlement and say, well, ain't nothing else can be done. No, she's exactly right. His life mattered. And that's why she's fighting. And I'm glad she hasn't given up the fight. Those the type of mamas I can stand behind 10 toes down. Because
Yes.
yeah, I understand that. And that's why I say the same way he didn't come to dinner in 7 years, Davis wouldn't be at dinner either.
Mhm.
Because the way I heard about it back then, they laughed about it. They joked about it. These people still went on with life.
Mhm.
Imagine how hard it was for his if any of his other relatives would have went to their school. See, it goes deeper than just him. The pain that is inflicted across the family stays with the family. Whether it's 7 years or 17 years, it's still right there. One less person to share memories with, one less person to call, see what they would have become. He could have changed the world, anything, moved his mama from the side, anything, but that was stolen from him. So
Yeah.
that forever lingers. And that's why I don't get when people say, well, if they get justice, they get closure. It's never closure. It's never closure. Because how do you get closure knowing you sent your baby to school? And that's why I'm glad she said what she said. Her baby went selling dope. See, when you take them key words out, like I had to do for that baby stare with one child, then maybe you don't hear nothing about it. We didn't hear about no gang banging, no selling dope, no baby mamas. He went in the rap video. He ain't had no AK-47. When they couldn't use that, then what? Oh, it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all see the irony. But had he did one thing, they would have said, "Oh, well, that's justifiable because he hit the boy in the eye." What? Kids go argue. These young men, I expect them to argue about girls. I
Yeah.
mean, back in the day, that's normal. But when it gets to a point you want to kill somebody, it's not that deep. It's high school. But it was something about that angel that them devils didn't like. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They couldn't take his glow up then.
Very
And
evil,
I
deep
hope it
rooted,
hurts them. Mm-hmm.
deep
That's
rooted
why I said
evil.
for them to do it, I see where they got it from. The apple did not fall far from the tree.
It didn't. It didn't. You think you can just
So
take
that,
a human life and call daddy and daddy come save you.
and I hope for all of that is revealed. It comes to the light what happened to him because, like I said, I've been following a long time, and I just can only imagine. And then they like, oh, we're just missing. So I want to ask him, well, how do the organs go missing if I did an accident to myself? Why? It don't even make sense to you.
I want to say it happened at the coroner's office that when they re-exhumed the body, the organs was missing. It wasn't. I don't believe in when. I'm not sure if they was taken at the gym or another location or during an autopsy and it went missing.
And see,
I'm
that's
not
the crazy
sure.
part. And y'all want to still say, well, yeah, every day folks just go out there and get organ from young men and just like that's normal. And so it's still an accident. I'm
But
like, who are these people making these calls?
the first coroner, he was shady. That's the one that ruled it an accident.
Right. And
They
he wouldn't have
placed
made it home
the
to his family. Okay.
newspapers. He's the one that placed the newspapers in the body as well, and tried to say that's not out of the norm for them to do. He didn't have.
Girl, I almost said something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sick.
That
This
that
case is
was a
sick.
slap in the face because he was black. You mean to tell me it's some
Mm-hmm.
other looking people, non-melanated, that's down there in the cemetery, and they can be in Zoom, and we gonna find newspaper? Cause I would have challenged them on it. Pull them up.
Oh yeah, he was definitely doing
It's
that for the
something.
family. He was
It
definitely
was,
that corner was working for that family. He did that to save those
but
boys.
the hate was so real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even letting it. I just have to laugh to keep from crying to be like, y'all got that much hate for that one young man.
Mm-hmm.
Your sons drop, baby. There's baby ingrained in them, but it's the D South.
Yeah.
Crazy. But I'm gonna drop back down in the chat, but I just want to come up and
Okay.
holler at you and just get my thoughts on the case.
Thank you so much, Niall.
You're
Thank you.
welcome, Susan. You have a good one.
All right, you too, baby. Well, there y'all have it, y'all. This is the update. These people are sick. Like I said, I'm glad that the mother is still fighting. Shout out to the mom and the family who has still been fighting all these years for justice and never settled for a settlement. Like Night I was saying, in some cases, parents take settlements. They take the money. They take the money and they go on with their life. In this case, Jackie did not do that. She still fought every time to reopen that case, and here we go again. So we're going to fight with Jackie. We're going to continue to fight with the family, and every update throughout this case, it will be coming to this channel. It will be, yes, that's a real mom. It will be coming to this channel, and we every update, every switch in the case, every court hearing, everything will be on the channel. Thank you, Tasha, for us, like I said, for the updated information. I was laying down, I got there, I was like, oh Lord, those photos did something to me. It really did. It bothered me. It really did bother me. This case bothered me. The sound is distorted. I don't know why. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I'm sure she was offered a lot of money. I'm sure she was offered a lot of money. Love you too, Lakendra. I'm sure she was offered a lot of money to turn 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 her cheek and stop fighting and leave it alone. But she didn't. Even when she tried to sue, she sued 38, 39 people, lost the lawsuit, and they ordered her to pay them $300,000. It's been a lot of evilness around this case that they've done to this mother. But victory shall be hers, because I'm gonna speak that I'm distorted a lot. Okay. Well, I don't know why. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going ready to get off since my sound is distorted. I don't know what's going on. Let me go ahead and get off. It ain't nothing but the evilness. It ain't nothing but the evilness, because we was fine, but it's okay. We still brought it. We still brought the pictures. We still brought the information to the forefront. So let me go and get up off here. But I love y'all. Thank y'all for distortion your internet. Right. That evilness. It's okay. We still going to fight for justice for Kendrick Johnson. Thank y'all. I love y'all. And make sure y'all check out the last video I did with Jacqueline and Trezell and versus Chris Watts. Y'all make sure y'all check that out as well. But thank y'all for watching. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow with another video. Okay. But yes, we're gonna continue to fight for Kendrick. Just like we're fighting for everybody else. We're gonna continue to fight for Kendrick to make sure he gets justice. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.